Hello, stroke warriors and their families everywhere. This is Ralph with Stroke Warrior Radio, where recovery finds its voice. Today, we welcome back again Louise Harris from Stronger Than Stroke. Hi, Louise. How you doing today?
Alf, I'm doing good. I'm still here and I'm still loving life.
Living a dream, right?
Well,
You,
eventually,
yeah, right. You and I have talked about stroke and recovery, so I don't want to, again, we don't need to retell our stories
no.
about our strokes, but we want to talk what we talk about most is where we are in our stroke recovery now. Uh, when recovery doesn't become about getting something back, uh, it's when we're figuring out how to live with what happened, who we've become, and what's still frustrates the hell out of us, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
even learning to laugh at some of it. So, um, let's talk about, and this is a topic that not too many people realize happens to stroke or TBI survivors, and that's relationships after stroke. You recently not recently, but a few back, did a podcast on Stronger Than Stroke uh, about what you've learned about how stroke changes relationships. You want to
Mhm.
expand on that?
Well, it goes from what I saw in myself first. I have three sons and I'm very close to my kids and they're fully grown up, look, they've left home. But obviously, what I noticed over the early periods is the lack of visiting me. Like, and it hurt because I didn't understand why I wasn't seeing them anymore. And the reality of it, they couldn't stand seeing me, from this their mom, the doer, the get up, the go, working full time, like, everything you do. And then suddenly I can't do anything for myself. And it was too painful for them to come round and see me. And at first, like I said, at first, when you've had the stroke, you need as much help, care, and attention as you can.
Yeah,
And I had none. I was like. So with my kids anyway, it's not. I'm the kind of person is that I wouldn't put stuff on them. I've always raised them to be very independent. And then obviously I'm three over 3 years now, and I've been able to approach the subject. And it's not like they ever wanted to admit it, but I am aware now that
really.
it's just that they couldn't tolerate. It was too painful to see me the way I was.
And did you go through that with friendships as well?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I've just spoke about the kids, but
Yeah.
that's it. Friends as well. Like you at the beginning and in hospital, I have to say, like people visit, they do all that, but they just disappear. They just completely disappear. And the
Yeah.
reality of it, what I see it as, is that I couldn't. It would hurt me. So there were a lot of tears over it for me. Coming through that though, I'm a stubborn person, so it was just like a bit of a. I don't want to swear much, but it's a bit of a fuck you all. I'll just get on with it. Um,
Yeah.
and now look, obviously, because they're seeing, and I'm a laugher. Look, I'm a positive. I have down. Don't think I don't, but I'd rather see the positive. So they're all seeing the improvements. So I'm slowly starting to get people reach out. And it's funny when that happens too, Ralph, because when they do, my brain straight away, it's like I don't want to respond straight away because that part of me of thinking you just walked out, you
Yeah. Yeah.
call yourself a friend. But I really don't think people can't deal with it. That's how
Yeah.
I that's how
Yeah.
I
It's hard to see some disabilities, I guess you could say. And then as we grow, it becomes invisible disabilities as our recovery becomes better, because maybe you don't walk as with a limp anymore. I still have a limp, but you don't need a cane anymore, those kind of things. So people will come up to you and say, "But you look fine." I mean,
Which,
you want to say, I don't know, what do you tell them? I know what I tell them.
well, my sense of humor, when people tell me, you look fine, I go, I know. That I do say that. It's one of them though, isn't it? I'll say it on here, but I wasn't gonna. I have designed some badges because there is nothing in the world or globally that shows the world I've got neurological injury. And I feel like we should have something, because if somebody in the street walks past you way too fast, I find that that can knock your brain balance out, and you feel like you're going to fall to the floor.
Right,
But it's all, so it's an invisible, what you just said, unless you're really, unless you've had a stroke that has been so severe that it's difficult to move anything, which I
right.
understand like this. Um, yeah, you can't see it. So
Yeah,
I'm out. I've got an AFO on. Most people think I've broken my leg, and that's what that AFO is, setting my leg back.
okay.
So again, it's difficult. But if people say, "But you look fine," which grinds on me, because the fact that
Yes,
but we're not. But you can't exactly unzip your scalp and pull it back to show the injury, can you? So
exactly.
it's a fine line, isn't it? It's back to that. People can't see it, so in their head, it doesn't exist.
Well, and I think one of the things you and I both do is we try and get our circle of friends more stroke survivors or TBI survivors or people like that. And I think one of the things I do is, I hope they're going to come around. Um, that those relationships were pretty darn good before, but if they didn't come around, it's like you said, F them. We,
Yeah.
we have to go on with our recovery. And they didn't explain any of this to us. They didn't tell us, your family's going to look at you like, who the hell is that person? They're going to look at, and they're going to avoid us because they don't want to see that we're not the person we were. And that becomes very hard. Um, but by the same token, because of it, I think some of our relationships become stronger, correct?
Oh, absolutely. But I have got to go to that area of what you've just touched on.
Okay.
Strokes. Stroke survivors will be your best mate. The only reason why is because when you explain something, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even the like I said, I commend the medical staff and everything else, but I'm going to go. It's about book learning. They are the experts in
Yeah.
looking at MRI scan and knowing how the brain works. But I'm sorry, unless you've had a stroke, nobody understands. People do
Yeah.
say, "Oh, yeah, no, I understand, I understand." No, they don't. How can you if you haven't experienced it? So, yeah.
Have you come up with, like I said a minute ago, I know what I say to some of them. Have you come up with a standardized response to people? For example, what I do is, well, my stroke was 10 and a half, 11 years ago, but I still have issues with remembering names and stuff like that. And that's my, I guess, protection that I use to not get hurt by what they say, which can hurt. Have you come up with a standardized thing that you kind of say to people when they're trying to get back in?
I don't really have a standardized, I'm a bit off the cuff kind of thing, but I am a bit that way. You're either in or you're out. And as my life gets better,
Yeah.
as I recover more, which is really slow. I mean, but and I'm not that. I don't care if it's tomorrow. I don't care if it's 10 years from now. I love life and I'm going to carry on loving it. So because my mindset is what I've worked on, um, yeah, for me, their loss. It's their loss. That friendship we had, the things they say, they will need me before I need them.
Good point. Good point. How did you said you've since the beginning talked to your children. How'd that conversation go? I mean, did you bring it up or did they say something? I mean,
I
my go
I
ahead.
get no, I was going to straightway say no. They've obviously spoke to people that I know, close people. So like one of my kids, he spoke to his dad, and then I
Uh,
ended up conversation with his father, telling him how hurt it was that I haven't seen him. And then he ended up confiding in me and just told me, this is why you
right.
have him. So,
Okay. Okay.
and I just have to say that my middle son, the one I, I obviously I know my children, but me and him, he's now back more in touch. So, like today, he's rang me 5 times.
Oh,
so,
wow.
so but they've also seen as the 3 years have gone by, mum's personality is shining through again. Never mind her body. And it's very much asking me, are you all right though? There's that care and attention. They realize that I'm not written off and I'm not, well, obviously I survived. I'm not a victim because obviously, as
Yeah,
you know,
I think
victims,
one of the answers too is, you know, um, I didn't lose my intellect.
yeah,
My intellect's still there. My personality's still there. It's a
yeah.
little changed, but it is still there. Um, so, I mean, and the other thing that the relationships do to us, or did to me anyway,
Mm.
is it affected my identity. I mean, who I am now. If people don't want to be with me because of this disability, or I'm on a walker or whatever, I mean, who am I now? I mean, I keep coming back to that on all our interviews. Uh, at some point, we have to ask something beyond who was I before my stroke. So, with all the relationships, the mental health problems, the recovery issues, the therapy issues, I mean, at some point, we have to say, who is Ralph today? Who is Louise today?
Again, what I said before is the mindset, didn't I? And I worked a bit on that. Early days, it was hard. Just like you just said, I lost my identity. And why did that? Because obviously I had the stroke and I couldn't work anymore. Prior to the stroke, I knew who I was. I was an accountant for our fire service here. And that's what that's Louise. Jump in the car, go wherever need. It was that, isn't it? And then that's all gone. You've got nothing. My mindset, though, I got that straight. Who is Louise? Louise is the same person as she was before she had the stroke. So I'm looking at it like that. I've got like, I know that talking now and when viewers watch our interview, oh, she's doing really well. But as the stroke survivor, it's the difficulty. Like my right side, I can feel it in my throat. I can feel when my voice is disappearing in. I can feel when it doesn't want to work. And any stroke survivor, how much energy that takes.
Yes,
But I've set my mind to, yes, I've got this with the body, but I am still who I was. I am no different. I've got ailments with my body, but that to me is secondary. I am still Louise. I still
yes.
exist, and my voice counts. And so it's
Well,
my put myself in that, not shriveling away. But I know we do that. The period of my recovery when I couldn't come out of bed, that, or I've got a commode next to my bed, and that's my toilet. I can't get to the bathroom. But yeah, I just fought with the exercise, and that's how I see it. I'm still Louise.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is so interesting, well, it was interesting for me. I traveled to Arizona to see my children and grandchildren,
Yeah,
and I asked my youngest daughter, who was in the hospital with me after my stroke, I
yeah.
said, "Well, how do you think I'm doing?" And she said, "Oh my God," I get choked up. "Oh my God, Dad, you're better than you were before."
Oh,
You know,
oh, what a cool thing to say.
yeah, I mean, and it's at that point that I realized, you know what I am? I am still Ralph, but look at what I've learned. I've changed my temper's nowhere near what it used to be. My patience with people is amazing,
Exactly.
considering how weird people have gotten. Yeah, you found it early. It took me a long time, but there's a self-awareness of what's going on around us in our recovery that makes it difficult to recognize that, hey, I've learned patience. I've learned to calm down, those kind of things. I think, and you were fortunate, I believe, based on seeing what you do, that you were able to be aware of that. And that's something that both you and I try to do is tell people that self-awareness is so important.
Very briefly, that the reason that, because a lot of people I know, well, I don't know, but there will be, because I've got my Instagram, a lot of people that will look on there and think, oh well, she's all right, she obviously didn't have such a bad stroke, because I was doing that when I looked at others at the beginning. And I'm not going to dig into it, but I just have to say that I've had a lot of atrocities and things to get through in life, like other people do, but serious stuff, surviving, rescuing my own children and saving us from a house fire. Like, I'm not talking little. I've been through a lot of stuff in life. It's just what happened. So because I've been through such stuff, because that's not it, that's a whole different podcast. But because I've been through stuff like that, and with any crisis as a human, we've got two choices. You're going to sink or you're going to swim. And I've always been, I like life. I like being alive. And by some miraculous thing, and this is how I feel about someone that survives stroke, we are amazing people. We are amazing people. Like, why did we get saved? Because when you look at the statistics, the amount
Yes.
of people that do not make it. So, us survivors, we're not victims. Yes, we've got something to learn, but we're
Yeah.
also ready to go. We were saved. Our heart, whatever it was, we're still here. We're absolutely amazing people.
I think we, and I'm talking about stroke warriors, because to me, being a stroke survivor is a choice. You can be a stroke survivor or choose to be a stroke warrior. I
Right.
think that I don't I don't think regular people can have can discover otherwise. That we've had the opportunity, and this is my positive uh, view on it as well, is we've had the opportunity to discover change. We've had the opportunity to become stronger. I think it was in the last talk we had, that
Mm.
you went to work, you did your stuff, you know, and what have you learned about yourself now? I mean, oh my God, look at me. I don't know anything about radio. I don't know anything about podcasts, but I'm doing all of that now. I've I think I like communicating that there's an opportunity for survivors to become warriors and become stronger, different, um, and maybe even just more comfortable being ourselves, don't you think?
I definitely, like you said, feel that you've got to turn it into something positive. So I definitely feel that we are all people we've experienced stroke. So see, I've moved to a different level of mindset. So it's not about I had a stroke, but that was the emergency. So that the hospital, that's the stroke. That was the emergency. That was the event, all of that. But I'm 3 years out. So I experienced, that's my past. I am someone living that has experienced a stroke. So I'm not suffering. Yes, I've got some work to do. Yes, it was work I was not expecting. But again, like you just said, version
Yeah.
one was at the emergency there. There's version one, but this is version two. And to me, version two, come on, let's
Yeah.
be better than we were. So what have I learned as well? Like you said, not just the resilience, but like this, what we're doing,
Yeah.
creating, creating community. Because the other thing on that in the world is my opinion. I feel like community doesn't really exist anymore. Everybody's each for their own in the world. Where I'm seeing this is the opportunity is to create globally a community of people that have experienced stroke.
Yeah. I did Stroke Warrior Radio, and you've turned your experiences into Stronger Than Stroke. Um, why do you think? Well, I don't know if I want to ask that. Um, why was it important for you to have Stronger Than Stroke be real and raw instead of polished and inspirational?
Because to me, polished and inspiration is phony. Real and raw and authentic is this is how it is. No
Yeah.
bullshit. There's no
I-
bullshit. We're talking truth. And I am like that with my stronger than stroke. If you can't handle it or don't like it because you prefer polished, find some polished place. Because mine is telling you how it is.
yeah. Well, and we some survivors are hungry for conversation where uh and I had I was a survivor that was hungry for a conversation when somebody would say to me, yeah, this part really sucks. But
Yeah.
and then the but is dot 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 it keeps going, you know?
Well, I just feel anyway, it's this that building the community like you are and I am with the stronger than stroke, reaching out to the world, showing them, bringing us all together. You're at different levels in recovery, and having the community when you get like they would use the word, don't they, the plateau. I
Yeah,
don't believe plateaus. I do believe that a plateau is sometimes because you're actually not pushing yourself to show your brain this is what you do. You've just got comfortable because it's hard work. And I'm
yeah.
neuro look, so the energy, the zap, the zap. I can get up after a good night's sleep, 10 minutes after moving. I've got to sit down or lie down again. I mean, it's harsh. So
Yeah, yeah,
I,
it is.
I just feel the
Even
community.
even now I go through that.
Oh yeah, and it can carry on, but I'm not going to give in to it. But the community, like I said though, if we are all start talking, because I know stroke makes you recoil into yourself, I know what it's like. You don't want to see people, you don't want to live in the body you're in. I know all of it. I've been there. Dips and troughs, isn't it? But if we can all talk to each other or reach out, someone that's at the next stage or was where you are but now they've got through it and they're here, just talking to each other, I just think that will make improvements for people, that will make you improve.
I agree. I agree totally. And one of the things that I think we're leading up to, and I don't think is explained enough,
Mm.
is recovery doesn't have a finish line. I
No.
mean, our partners, I don't know how to say this nicely. some of our partners expect the finish line and therefore don't become we lose our partners because there is no finish line and they can't deal with that. Uh, some of us don't. How many stories have you and I heard about survivors that have committed suicide? They think they've reached their finish line. Uh, do you, how do you address that? I mean, how do you tell another stroke survivor, and keep them motivated to believe that there's no finish line? You can still recover.
Well, the actual reality of there is no finish line is fact because the way the brain works, because the way the body works, how it all works. So that is a fact that, neuroplasticity doesn't exist for no reason. So there's plenty, but that's the scientific side, look, isn't it? The scientific side about the way the body works and stuff like that. So somebody that I would say though is really stuck in that negative, the negative side, and I get it. I'm not in anything I say trying to make it light of being in that area of being that down.
Well,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
but I've got to say what it is. That is mental health because it comes from the brain. And there's nothing wrong. Every human, everyone suffers with some kind of mental health at some point in life. But again, it's about thought that. So I studied psychology. That's about thought process. Where do your thoughts live? Up there in the
Yeah.
brain. So if you're putting in negative thought or you're thinking negative, how can your body like that? Do you know what? See what I'm trying to say? I believe that when I'm thinking negative, the day's done. Forget it. Stay in bed, watch TV. Do you know what I mean? Put the radio. That's a negative day for me. I've learnt myself through my own body, tried and tested because I've been there with depression. I know it's hard to believe the way I talk and the way my Instagram is and stuff. It is hard to believe. But you can overcome that. You can. Um, so again, someone that's really down, it's more about the imbalance in the brain. It's the negative side of it because the world we live in today, I personally feel it's easier to be negative than it is positive.
Yeah. Well,
Look,
and it takes a while for us too to realize, I think, it took me a while to realize those negative things are going to happen. There is
mm-hmm,
nothing you can do about it. It's
mm-hmm,
gonna happen. The fact of the matter is that you have to be aware that that's not the end, that there's something you can do to change it. There's something you can do to make your recovery continue. And I've done this long enough with the radio that I don't think recovery is the right word anymore because
no,
it's
I get,
like it's we're living life. So
yes,
it's
yeah,
not just recovery, it's
yes,
living. And we
yes.
have to make that damn choice sometime.
It it is tricky, isn't it? When especially like early, because I remember early, I was all right one day. I never had any sort of sign of this was happening to me. Um, Within 24 hours, the right side of my body was like somebody had opened my brain up and poured concrete in. It'd gone from my brain right down my arm, right down my leg. So it's really it is it's a, I'm not lying about the tough one. Oh, how do I do that? Sorry about this. I've got
No worries.
someone's trying to call me. There, I'm back. Um,
Okay.
it is a tough one because when you fall down, what I know about the stroke for me was I started feeling that heaviness coming in, the depression with it, because of the fact that I didn't want to be in the body that I've got now. It weighs a ton. And you can either sit there, you can stay in that. And I do feel I knew I had to catch myself because all I kept thinking was, if I fall over that hill into depression, how am I going to get out? I do feel
Yeah.
that fall into it. It's how the hell do you get out of it? And I only believe now, like I said, I'm resilient because of what I've suffered in the past and I won't give in. I'm not dead. I'm going to fight this. But that, yeah, no, I do think it's a hard one. It's catching it, isn't it? It's catching it at that time. And I just think that someone that was depressed, if they've fallen over that hill, what you need is like a whole bus load of coach survivors to come to you to go, right, come on. You know what I mean?
Well, and that what we're talking about is I hope survivors hear this, is this shit's gonna happen. You know,
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do to avoid it. When it does happen, stop, drop, roll. You know, it's
yeah,
like,
no.
you
So,
know, you
mm,
gotta accept it, but plan for it.
no, it's going to happen. And look, like you just said, for me, what was it? I couldn't, if I needed to cry, it's building up in me, and I felt it come right up. And when it got up here, I had to let it go. So if you're going to cry, if you're going to grieve, it's grieving. It's grieving. You've
Yeah,
lost. You've lost. It's almost like that first version of you. It died, and you're left with version two. And the starting point of version two, I'm just going to say straight, is shit. So
yeah,
you
yeah, it
are
is.
you are right. It's yeah.
When talking, going through this discussion, I shall say, when you look ahead instead of backward, what excites you the most?
I, I for me, look, I just went into that every day. I wake up every day, my eyes open, and I just simply look outside, look at the sky, and just say thank you. So I got into that habit because that's a positive. Saying thank you is a positive word, and life. So that's what I mean. Just the excitement for me. Also, I think the excitement comes because I've been working so hard and now I'm really, really still unsteady on the feet and the right leg is really still a massive, and the arm, the right side is still a massive issue. I can't write, I can't use my dominant side, but I've been getting up, not feeling fearful of going out there in the world, because there is that. I'm not bothered really, but it is that, like when you go out there, you feel different. You feel so different to society. And it's scary. It's horrible thought, like, what if I fall out? All that does
Yeah,
enter you. No, I'm past it. I'm past it. I just go, I do get moments like, we're going to stop in here. We're going to go in. I'm like, oh my God. And I look at how far I've got to walk and I'm like, oh, I weigh it all up. I get out there. So what am I excited about? Whatever I can achieve, what I can show the world. Look what I've done. you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and I think the conclusion of what we're talking about is the next steps. You're also not only preparing for those bad times or mental health issues, but you're also preparing for the next steps. For example, stronger than stroke. Tell our listeners what some of your titles are that you
Oh,
can remember.
I was going to say, yeah, because unless I look, because obviously, look, with the stroke, my brain doesn't work like it used to.
Yeah, exactly. Mine either still.
I just have to say a couple that I know have done, people are going towards because the titles are, and it is that you don't sit waiting for recovery. So when you listen to that podcast, it is what, and it's my experience. Again, it's my experience, my opinion. It's all about what I've learned. So if you can't move your affected side, which obviously that's what happens, use your good hand and move the other arm, the arm that's not working, Just move it with the good one. It's about, don't sit waiting. Like when we've got a cold or we've broken a leg or cut something or whatever, you watch it over the days, scab over. You watch it go through what recovery does, don't we? You know,
Yeah.
if you've hurt yourself, a bruise, you watch it by each day that goes by, lessen in size or lessen and whatever. You can't sit like that thinking that that's what recovery is. I mean, you've got to move the limbs because moving the limbs is what is showing the brain, I still want this limb. Don't
Yeah.
forget the limb because the brain will just forget about it. You don't need it. The brain just thinks if it's not moving, it's no longer needed. So you got to move stuff. So look, I'm going on because my brain. So that's one.
That's all right.
That is one of the
I,
types about not waiting for the recovery.
well,
I've
stronger than stroke. I mean, I know Stroke Warrior Radio has changed for me. What's changed for you since you started the podcast?
the change that since we started, because again, don't forget my co-host is Myra.
Right.
Um, so she's the left affected, I'm right affected. So we tend to what's changed since her and I. So we base on like the podcast is us just generally having a chat about how we've done, what we've done. We laugh, she laughs, we laugh. Laughter is that's my medicine. Um, what I'm seeing, bigger than anything, was changed is how many people have had strokes. That's what I'm seeing, Ralph. So I just want to say I started it in January, and it was only the other day that I started looking. So age groups, like 0 to 17, 18 to 20, whatever, all the age groups, there was nothing coming through for the younger. I can't believe how the numbers going up. So youngsters,
Yes.
yeah, that. So for the podcast, that's what I'm seeing. It's the volume of people. What warms me about that? Why did I start this? Because when I was in a hospital, I was looking. I just search stroke recovery, stroke survived just anything to do with stroke, just to see if I could find someone else and what had they done? Because no one would, hospital can't tell you. And there really was, I just felt like there was nothing. I just felt like, what am I going to do? There's nothing. I can't even look on the internet and find anything about recovering. That's what
Yeah.
made me feel like, let's just talk about this. Let's just put it out there. Let's just put it out there. Let's just tell stroke survivors what we've done.
Well,
But again, that's what I am seeing is the volume coming through of people that are, looking at it. So on the back end of that, I'm looking at the titles of stuff. So that just sitting looking. One of them is being alone. Being alone after.
yes.
That's a big one because the majority have got family, like we've said before. They've got family. Like you think maybe the friends would help, but like I told you, mine just sort of went the other way. So a big one about being on your own. One where I talk about being right side affected, living in a right side affected body. Myra does the one about left side affected body. But yeah, look, I'm like that. Basically, Ralph, anyone that
Yeah.
wants the titles will have to go on the podcast because my brain is like vitamin D, vitamin D. There's one.
Yeah. I've learned that one less than a year ago. And oh
Yeah,
my gosh, what a difference it makes. I mean, there's so many things out there, for example, you and I have talked about this before. It's not only physical and occupational therapy or speech therapy.
no,
Um, there's 14 different ones as far as I'm concerned. Acupuncture, massage, mental health, there's all kinds of things out there. And we
I
all need to explore the alternative therapies as well.
absolutely. Can I just throw one in there that I think is huge, but people aren't aware of it? Hydrotherapy. Because if
Yes,
you go into a hydrotherapy pool, The water takes your weight, and then you can, as bad as you are in a stroke, as bad as you are, even if you can't walk like outside of the pool, being in that pool, it's like a miracle. You're suddenly
Yes.
in, and if they get you to walk in it, you can walk in it. Like it's amazing. Except when you come out because you get the gravity back, and it's
Yeah, you need a minute to get adjusted. I had my therapist, and this was what got me off my cane and walker and everything, is my therapist had a water treadmill
there you go.
that, yeah, it's like one in walk-in showers. You stand in this end, it fills up. You open the door, you go in this end, and there's the treadmill.
Yeah, yeah,
First time I got on that, I don't think I went over 1.0 for speed.
yeah.
But 6 months, maybe 9 months later, I was running an 18-minute mile in the water.
There you go. Look, so hydrotherapy, anything to do with water, hydro.
Yep, yep,
Absolutely.
it's a miracle. Um, where can people listen to Stronger Than Stroke and connect with you?
Um, all podcast platforms really. So the
Okay,
main one, Spotify.
okay,
I'm on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. You know, they're the main ones. Is it a Summit Cast Box? Is it or something? Look, me,
okay.
my brain's not registering, but yeah,
Yeah,
any main platform.
yeah, that's my main platform now too.
Yeah,
Um, couple quick closing questions, okay?
yeah.
Just to get your positive ilk on these people listening to us.
Hmm.
What would you say to the survivor who's listening today and wondering this is good as it's going to get?
A survivor that is thinking this is good as it's get is going to get. I would just say don't stop your exercises because you may think it's as good as it's gonna get because it's a repetition every day, as in getting waking up and it's still not connecting, still not moving. We can all diss it, but that's not how stroke works. Keep
Yeah,
going, keep going.
exactly. What would you tell someone who's having a bad recovery day?
Bad recovery day. Stop, take the day off.
Great answer.
Yeah,
Short and
stop,
to the point. I love it.
stop, and
Uh,
start again tomorrow.
finish this sentence for me, for us. Today, being stronger than stroke means.
Never quitting.
And finally, Louise, um, what what does being a stroke warrior mean to you?
Holding your head up and getting out there and showing the world that you may have been through the experience of a stroke, neurological event, but you're still here, you still count, you're still the same. Just keep on going and reach out to us. Reach out,
Exactly.
get in touch.
And you can reach out to Stroke Warrior Radio at strokewarriorradio.com or on social media Stroke Warrior Radio. And you can reach out to Louise at
Look, I was going to go straight. The podcast, if you go on the podcast, you can make a comment there or go on Instagram at gr8 dot sassy survivors and just send a message. Don't be
awesome.
afraid. Just say hi if you don't want to say anything else, and we will be in
Exactly.
touch.
Awesome. Thanks for coming back, Louise, and more importantly, always willing to talk honestly about everything. For our listeners, recovery isn't always inspirational. Sometimes it's frustrating, exhausting, funny, messing, and really, really unfair.
Yeah.
But conversations like this remind us that we don't have to pretend otherwise, and we don't have to go through it alone. To
No.
everyone, yeah, to everyone listening, your story matters. Your recovery is worth fighting for, and you're never alone on this path. Thank you for listening to Stroke Warrior Radio and catch the wave. You are warriors achieving victories every day. Thank you, Louise.
Thanks, Ralph.